welcome. Happy Wednesday, happy Thursday. Welcome to the live stream today. Happy spring if you're in the northern hemisphere, and fall if you're in the southern. Hello, Kiana. I think I recognize that puppy dog's face. Millie, hello. Hello, hello. Who else here right now? Welcome. Oh, how do I say that? Anmiek? Anamiek? Hello. Welcome and glad you're new. That's awesome. Thanks for joining us today. Please do let me know how I pronounce that. Anne Meek. Anne Meek. Oh, cool. I like it. Names are lovely. Oh, you're plotting. Okay, I did good. I see. Yes. It is a Dutch name, huh? Very cool. Well, welcome, Anne Meek. Nice to have you here. Who else is here today? We are having non-spring-like weather on the first day of spring. Oh, well. I am very much ready for spring here in the Northern Hemisphere. Other than that, my heart feels tender today. How are you guys feeling? Normally at the beginning of my lives, we just hang out and chit chat for a bit until we get a few more people in so that we can start introductions and doing readings. For those like Anne Meek who are new, I do readings here using my gift, my ChakraTouch gift, and I will explain that in a few minutes. Looks like we're gonna have a quiet start for now. Kiana says, I'm okay, Greg. Take my test tomorrow evening, so I'm doing a lot of reviewing and practice testing. How are you feeling? Anxious, nervous, excited, scared, worried, calm, peaceful? Mostly nervous and anxious. Yeah. Yeah, this is the big test. And Meek has a lot of challenges physically at the moment. I'm sorry to hear that, my friend. Hello, Gary. Good to see you. Kiana's is ready to get it over with so I can enjoy my vacation starting Saturday. Awesome. Where are we going, Kiana? I need a vacation. I want to go. Yes, many blessings for your test tomorrow. Hello, Katie. First time here, not a good day today. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Feel free to share more if you wish. I'm the kind of person that bears it all out myself. So that's just me. Not that you have to, but this is a safe, open environment to share how you're feeling. A 7-day cruise to Belize, Honduras, and Mexico with my son and bestie and her family for spring break. Oh, wonderful. Wow, I'm actually jealous. Not really. I mean, a little bit jealous. I'm very curious to see what's going to come out of our readings today. Sunday's group was really powerful. Actually, personally might want to go and look at the replay on my YouTube. It was really profound stuff. Gary, how are you feeling since that day? Unfortunately, my friend fell again yesterday, so that's 2 times in a week's period. So yesterday was a bit frazzled. Katie's saying, feeling stuck, don't know what to do, need direction. Katie, you're in a good place for that. I'm very fond of how my lives are able to offer guidance to people. Sometimes it's not always what we're wanting to hear, but a lot of times it's what we need to hear. So yeah, Kiana, thanks. It's been rough, even with family here. Uh, yeah. So I woke up this morning feeling anxious and stressed myself. And then I had a yummy breakfast, exactly what I wanted to have, and a really great shower. And then I had a long meditation and an hour's nap. And I woke up feeling ready for the day and differently. So, so far it has been a productive day. Hello, Jill. Welcome. Getting ready to go to work, huh? Okay. Good to have you, however long you can stay. Yeah, Annemiek, I've learned over time that the self-care is extremely important. A lot of times when I'm in the lower vibe emotions, we'll say, the fear, the anxiety, the stress, a lot of times I'm forgetting that my mind is running the show during those moments. And the most important thing for me is to come back into myself, to get centered again, to find some balance, and to surrender. A lot of letting go. There's a lot of variables right now. Um, certainly many relating to my elderly friend, and then a few in my own life that but just don't have control over, but I do have control over my thoughts and how I take care of myself. So yeah. Love bombs are always a good thing, Gary. Yeah, you may be right. But yeah, it's funny. It's not funny. I mean, it's funny. It's funny in an interesting way, not funny in a haha way. So it's not funny haha, but it's funny as thought provoking. It's just consistently been my experience that when I'm in my head and it's trying to figure things out and run the show, that invariably, I mean, 99.99% of the time generates negative emotions. It generates low vibration, low frequency emotions. And it takes me out of myself. It takes me out of my connection to the divine. And the biggest thing is it takes me out of my heart. But the minute I start getting back into my heart and remembering that love is the way for me and that it is the entirety of my purpose and existence here and that we're all connected through it, I start to feel better, especially when I get to be here with you guys. Hello, Millie. My elderly mom caregiving for ailing father in their home, finally consenting to getting 7-day a week in-home nurse. Oh, wow. Do I relate to that, Millie? Congratulations. I bet the feeling of relief on that is massive for you. Yeah. Congratulations on that. Glad to hear it. Anybody else want to share before we start getting into our regular routine here? Although I guess technically this is part of our regular routine because I love hearing from you guys. Oh, he's been falling 4 to 5 times a week. Ow. Mm. Oh, wait, I get it. I see. Oh my God, your elderly mom was taking care of your ailing dad. Oh, wow. Millie, that's stressful. I understand that. When I moved in with Marty, she was taking care of her husband who had advanced dementia. Physically mostly functional for him, but man, it's stressful. Yeah, we do that too for Marty. I'm strong, but I'm not. We need two people to get her off the floor because of her physical conditions and shape and her body size and everything. And we ended up getting a device for her neck that she presses a button and they call the EMTs and they come and they lift her off the floor. Yeah. What's that, Gary? Then it puts me in a place of when the mind is running the show. Yeah, it's all about the forgetting. really. The mind, that's one reason I love this virtual background. And I've pointed to this a lot when we've had it. But for the new people. So this is something I've been mentally, spiritually chewing on, is the essence of infinity, right? A couple weeks ago, I had this amazing aha. So I used to see the infinity symbols like on people's necks, right? Hello, Kimmy. I used to see that mostly on their necks or like on jewelry or different things, right? And it always struck me as a static, even though it represented infinity, it struck me as a static object, right? And so a couple of weeks ago, I was out on a walk, and forgive me if you've heard this already, but maybe it needs to be said again. And I realized that it's not static, that it's unlike a figure eight, which where the lines actually intersect and cross, with the infinity loop, the line actually overlaps. See how it overlaps right there? And when I thought of the overlap, I realized, oh, there's no end and no beginning. There's no start and there's no finish of the infinity symbol, right? It just keeps going. And that's when I realized that energetically, infinity, and I also believe this is true for love, energetically, the energy of infinity is moving as a continuum. It's unified. It's like if we think about all these little dots as moving together along the line, every single one of them, they're all moving as one, right? But what the mind does is it doesn't realize that. The mind will take this little segment of time or this little event or this little happening or this little thought, and it will hone in right on that. And that becomes the mind's singular and only reality. And the mind can't see all the beautifulness of this unending, ever continuing loop, right? The mind just focuses on this one little part. And yeah, that one little part is moving in the whole continuum, it's moving in the whole stream, but the mind just doesn't have the capacity to think beyond that. But the heart does. The heart knows and feels and can connect with this whole flow of existence. And so it's really easy for me when I get caught in my mind to disconnect from all these higher understandings, from all the perception that life is far better than it really than I think it is. I remember when I first when I was in 12-step programs, my very first year, I'd call a buddy for support, and he'd say, "So how are you?" And I would bitch and moan because at the time I didn't understand the difference between sharing my feelings and bitching and moaning and basically complaining and telling my stories that were in my head, because there is a difference. And I would do the usual dump basically versus a share. And he would say, one small correction, Greg, you're better than you think you are. And I was like, explain that. What do you mean? The first time I heard it, right? And he would say, well, think about it. Right now, the story you just told me is all about XYZ and how horrible that is. But are you clean today? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, are you having, good interactions with people? Like, are you being kindly? Are you being loving? Are you doing your meditations? And I'm like, yes, yes, yes. And he's like, then you're better than you think you are. And I was like, oh, I get it. My mind thinks everything's a mess. But when I actually look at how things really are, I'm better than I think I am. So there's my first guidance for all of you today. Yeah. I'll give you two other examples. So a lot of times I encourage folks to look for evidence of beauty, look for evidence of love, look for evidence of abundance, that whole kind of thing. Hello, William. Welcome back. Good to have you again. So Marty's had many, many family members here this last 5 or 6 days. And so we were celebrating her birthday. And so we've had a lot of very loving people who love her immensely, in and through the house, in and out, one and out, which is crazy making for me, but beautiful for her. And so one day I'm in the bathroom sitting on the toilet, and this is a funny bit, but and I was looking at the trash bin in the bathroom, and it was full of paper towels that all these people had been using for a few days, right? And I thought, that's evidence of love. So can you guys guess why I thought it was evidence of love. What would the explanation of that be? Because I could tell you, but I kind of want you to. People are there, right, Brooke? That's one part of it. Yeah, there's more. I didn't think of that, Erica, but that's legit too. Yeah, they want to be there. Yeah. Hi, Erica. Good to see you. Well, none of them were crying, but maybe it was. Maybe they come into the bathroom to cry during a moment of stress. So I like that beat. That's cool. What else, guys? Why else would a trash bin full of paper towels used by the loving family of my dear friend, why would that be evidence of love? Earth provides. That's true, although that wasn't what I was thinking at that moment. I never had any before. I'm not sure what you mean, Lee. Well, Kimmy, that would be evidence of abundance. That's for sure. There was lots of paper, but why would it be evidence of love? A few more comments from you guys, and then I'll tell you what ran through my heart when I saw that. Lots of paper towels, lots of people. Yep, Joanne. Because people were in your life, says Deborah. Now, Deborah's getting close, and that is absolutely 100% true. It was more than one experience. Truly. Yep. They want me to clean up after them, Brooke. No. Yeah, that's a good funny though. That's hilarious. No germs? No. It's not about the paper towels, my friends. It's about what the paper towels represent. All right, so I'll tell you what went through my mind. Yeah, it's not even about cleanliness. So what went through my mind was we had about 15 to 20 people in the house over the weekend, and they were all here to celebrate Marty's birthday, which was on Monday, her 84th birthday. And they all love her dearly. And so as I was looking at the bin of paper towels, I realized that because they were here celebrating and they were feeling a lot of love for her, they were connected to love. So they were in the energy of love. And when they washed their hands and then dried them on a paper towel, their energy of loving Marty and being in love was intermingling with the energy of the paper towels. And then they were leaving them in the trash. And so after they left on Sunday, the trash was left behind as evidence of all the love that they shared throughout the weekend and the celebration. Yeah, the celebration and the love, it's a residual. In my belief system, my understanding is that everything is energy. And so when they came into the bathroom to do their business and then wash their hands, they were leaving. They didn't realize it. I did by looking at the trash bin, but they didn't realize that they were leaving little remnants of love in the trash bin because they had come to celebrate their love for her. Isn't that cool? I love that. DNA, energy, whatever you're calling it. Yeah. So in a way, they were still there. They left a piece of themselves, but energetically, they're always here because she loves her family very, very dearly. And then the other thing that it came up with last week was thanks to these folks, an evidence of abundance, right? So one of the family members said, "Oh, we're going to the store, Greg. Is there anything we can get you?" And I said, "You know what? We actually could use some more toilet paper." And I showed them the brand and I said, "Just get me a 6-pack of this." Well, they brought back a 12-pack, which is going to take forever to go through, even with house guests. And when I my old self would have looked at that and said, "Well, I asked for a 6-pack. I just wanted a 6-pack of toilet paper, right?" But they were sharing their abundance with me by buying a 12-pack. And so now I have abundance of toilet paper in the bathrooms that support me and the guests, right? And that's abundant to me. It helps me. I mean, it helps me. I don't have to spend money on toilet paper now for however long that lasts. But my normal self would have been like, my old self would have been like, "You didn't get what I asked for." But this is interesting when you think about it, because when I often talk about how when we're asking the universe for something specific, we are limiting the universe's gods, whatever you call the divine, we're limiting its ability to deliver to us, basically to over deliver and knock our socks off. So I just really appreciated that they bought a 12-pack, which I just thought was hilarious. And every time I look at it, I'm like, there's evidence of abundance, because instead of 6, I got double what I wanted. So yeah, it's cute. All right, my friends, I'm getting warm, so I got to open the door. And let us get started. Welcome to the new people. My name is Greg Phillips. I'm coming to you from Rochester, New York. And what we do here on my ChakraTouch Reading the Energy Within lives is I share my gift with you guys. We do a readings format. I don't do anything predictive. I can't tell you about the future, but I read people's energy. So I have this gift where I can tap into their chakras. I just listen. I become an observer, a channel, and a conduit for love. And I just listen to the energy that's inside your chakras, inside your body. Energy that's in our body is so very present. It's like the most purest now aspect of ourselves. And energy begins to show me shapes, sounds, the quality of the movement, and I begin to describe that and reflect that back to you. And then I guide the person getting the reading to whatever resolution the energy needs in the moment. So that could be physical, spiritual, or emotional healing. It could be a breakthrough of a pattern of thinking. It could be a subtle awareness, a new insight that you never had. We just never know. Sometimes folks go on journeys. Sometimes I get messages from my guides. And one of the biggest messages is about love. And so as you can ask the regulars who come with me and meet with me every week, we're all about love, and my whole purpose is to guide people on the path to their heart, to live from love. So that's I don't give advice, but well, yes, I do, I guess. I mean, it's guidance, really. I don't believe in giving advice. I don't like unsolicited advice myself, and so I try not to give that to people. But when somebody asks for a reading, then they're actually inviting me to use my intuition in support of them, and that includes my guides and all that. Yes, yes, very good. So, that said, I do things a little differently here. Everybody has a chance at a reading because I use a spin the wheel app, and we let the universe decide who gets called on, which takes the burden off me. And it makes sure that anyone who's coming in late is never really late. So, hello, Elena. So good to see you. So that said, now is the time that we start to take names for people who would like a ChakraTouch reading. So raise your hand in chat, say me, please, I would, whatever you want to say, and I'll add you into the wheel. Hi, Evie. How are you? Erica, indeed. Who else? Sorry if you can hear the typing, but it's right near the mic. Meek. Lee would like one. Okay. Katie, indeed. Who else? Okay, Millie. We can take as many people as I can type. Also, for the new people, I'm a goofball, so I like to have fun and just be silly. Life's serious enough as it is. We might as well have some fun while you do this. All right, Kiana. I'm not actually using numbers anymore, believe it or not. Deborah, indeed. Yeah, I was using numbers because I was writing people down in a pad and then tying that number into the wheel app. And then I realized I could just save time and type people's names right into the wheel. Thanks, Lee. Appreciate it. All right, so far I've got Evie, Erica, Ann Meek, Lee, Katie, Millie. Gotta spell Millie right though. Kiana, Deborah, Kara, you want one too? Or Kara? How do you say your name? Soft A or long? Kara? Some names have multiple pronunciations. Greg is just Greg. It's just G or Greg. Yvonne, good to see you, dear. Yes, Kimmy. We got you on the wheel, the long A. So what would that be? That would be the A sound, right? Kara? Kara? Yeah, Kara. I think I got it right. Please let me know, Kara. Or the, yes, okay. I always tell the story about when I was in grade school and my dad would get my friends' names wrong and he wouldn't butcher the pronunciation. He would just completely call them by the wrong name. So I guess way back when I was 8, I made a decision that I'd do my best to try and pronounce people's names right. All righty. Good. So we've got our list for now. Anybody else want to get on before I spin? Take another sip of my water. That's a cool, unique name. Krisha? Or is the S an S? Chrisia. Perfect. Krisha? So the S is like a sh? Cool. Welcome. All right. So yeah, Krisha. Okay. Very cool. So for anyone who's brand new to my lives, if you get called on, right, we're gonna let the wheel pick so the universe will decide for us. If you get called on, I highly encourage folks to have a question or a topic, like an area of focus, where what they're wanting guidance around. You can just say wing it, or you can say just general guidance, and that works. But if you can get to a level of at least some clarity about what you're wanting to ask, it's really, really helpful for the reading. If not, we'll just go with whatever. So we try to be flexible in that here. All right, let us do the spin and see who gets to go first. I'm particularly parched today. All right, my first winner of a reading today is Lee. Yay, Lee. What guidance do you seek today, my friend? How can I be of assistance? Oh, and if you're not clear on a question, you can mention, you can make the topics mental, emotional, physical, life path. You could pick a certain chakra. There's a lot of different ways that are helpful for getting us rolling. So what guidance do you seek today, Lee? Life path, self-forgiveness, and love? Question mark. Do you have a question about one of those? An actual question? No. Okay. So Leo, I want you to do me a favor. Take your left hand, place it right here on your heart chakra, and Gently place your right hand over it. Make sure your hands are soft and your arms are really relaxed. Close your eyes, and you've offered up 3 different topics. And I just want you to gently move your mind's eye down into where that spot where your hands are touching your heart chakra. Just open your mind's ear and listen really closely. Of those 3 topics, life path, self-forgiveness, and love, of those 3, which one is raising its hand like a school child wanting to be called on? Which one's got that energy of like, ooh, I could use the attention and the help right now? And just see which one comes up. Trust your intuition, trust your heart space, and see which one of those comes up most strongly. Life path. Awesome. Okay. Tell me what you're thinking about and feeling about your life path right now while I scan you. Hmm. Thoughts are cloudy and muddied energy in the mind. I'm not able to read the heart yet. Do you want to share anything about that, Lee? Life path, more details? Right now, I'm really being drawn to your belly space, which I consider important for grounding. That's usually encompasses the lower 3 chakras. And then the third eye has really got a lot of kind of cloud. It's like a mix of sort of cloudy energy or like muddy, cloudy water. So any more details or explanation that you feel willing to offer would be really helpful. Let me just see what's going on in the belly. Okay. So Lee says I had a bad accident 5 years ago with a traumatic beginning to a new life. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. That is interesting. So I'm getting a couple things coming in first off. So as I initially said, so in your mind, the mind space is kind of full of a lot of cloudy water, cloud kind of fog energy. And it's really, really thick. There's just a thick layer of, it's like a thick veil. And it's got the kind of quality that the fog's been built up over time is the words that are coming to me. So it's been built up through a practice or a pattern of thinking, a way of thinking that has just created the thickness of the fog, right? So because we get foggy about things in life. It happens. It's part of being human, right? But there's been something that you've been practicing mentally that is just a repeated thought or a repeated story or a repeated way of looking at things that has just sort of piled more fog and more fog. Hi, Andrea. Good to see you. You had a brain injury. Okay, so there might be some of that as well. The other thing not might, how do I should have said that differently. The brain injury may be playing into the fog as well, for sure. The other thing I'm really getting, I just don't, I don't quite understand why yet, but I'm really being called to your third chakra. So the solar plexus or third chakra is all about personal power, self-confidence, our personal strength, right? And yet there's times in our lives when we don't have enough personal strength to call on. And that's why it's important to um, for me, it's been really essential to remember that I can call on the divine, whatever you label the divine, for that extra courage and that extra support. So I'm really feeling called to your solar plexus right now. And since you'd mentioned self-forgiveness, I mean, that ties into a lot of for self-doubt as well. So how is that any of that sounding right now? Does any of that resonate in any certain way, bringing up a thought or a feeling, Lee? You said, come on, but I'm not sure what that, I'm really feeling called to your solar plexus, so I'm just going to stay focused there for a bit. Right on the point. Okay, very cool. So, Lee, what do you consider the divine? Do you have a word or a label for it? I'm not attached to specific labels. I use a lot of different ones, but I like to use whatever is meaningful to the person having the reading. Yeah, I'm just really feeling your higher power. Wonderful. Okay. I'm feeling an incredibly potent light source in your solar plexus. Do you know where that is, Lee? So it's if you take your hand and you place your pinky on your belly button, the solar plexus is the three fingers and the thumb above sort of cover right where the solar plexus chakra is. That's where the third chakra is, right? So it's just a few fingers up above the belly button, the navel. Okay. So if you want, or I invite you to place your hands down there. So place your left hand with your pinky on your belly button, and then the other fingers and the thumb above, and then just put your right hand right over that. And I want you to move your mind's focus, your mind's eye to that spot and feel deeply inside. And I want you to see if you can, I don't know if you're a visual person or a feeling type person, either one is fine. Some people are visual, some people aren't. But I want you to just feel with me into your solar plexus there. There is, I'm really feeling an enormous light source. It's a bright, beautiful yellow. It's like the sun is in your solar plexus. Okay. And what that's saying to me and what I'm feeling is there's this enormous amount of power that you have there, and that your solar plexus is just really wanting. I mean, this is true for all of us, my friends. Our solar plexus, when we can truly open that solar plexus, when we connect with it even just minimally, right? I'm not talking about like blown wide open, but I'm just talking about even just establishing a tiny connection to that. And when we can feel that energy of our own personal power, and when we bring our higher power and our divine in and ask for the divine courage and the divine strength to infuse our solar plexus, then we really begin to get a sense of how powerful we really are. And it's almost like I kind of feel, just in terms of my personal philosophy, that the different chakras actually want us to be connected to their energy. The heart chakra wants us to connect with love. It wants us to feel compassion. It wants us to feel love for ourselves and and others. It's because the chakras are one of our connections to the divine. The solar plexus is always sending out this massive invitation for us to believe in ourselves, you know? And we don't always. It's hard sometimes in life, right? When you're facing conditions and situations like what Lee has been facing, it can be really easy for the mind to get in the way and say, this is wrong, that's wrong. I'm never going to be able to do this. This is impossible. And that's just our mind, right? And our mind is doing this one little diamond on the path of infinity, on this continuum, right? Of really what energy is all about, right? The mind can only see one speck, one piece, one fragment, one moment in time, whereas our heart and our connection to our higher power can see the whole thing. So I'm just really strongly getting a message for you, Lee. Whatever it is you've been thinking about regarding life path, which usually to me means calling, like a calling towards something, right? Um, it's not something you can solve with your mind, my friend. It's something that the mind can be helpful. So I always say the mind is a horrible master, but a wonderful tool. So the mind can be a wonderful tool in the process of discerning what your calling is, right? But you do not want it to run the show. If you get up in there, that's when the self-doubt starts generating. That's when the fear and the anxiety starts to come in. And then what happens is you're not vibrating at a frequency that's high enough to feel your calling, right? So it's so important to find whatever practice works for you to drop out of the mind and into the heart. Okay. One of our most famous and beloved ones here in my lives is something that I call Heart Teach My Mind. And I have a beautiful track about that. So I recommend you listen to that, Lee. It's just this beautiful, quick little practice where you tap your heart. Anybody can do it at any time of the day. You just tap your heart or lovingly place your hands there. And you just repeat a few times really gently, Heart, teach my mind. Heart, teach my mind. It does two things for you. First off, you're actually, when you're tapping or touching the heart, you're making a physical connection with that chakra, right? You're making a connection with that heart space. It's helping bringing you into your body more by just doing the tapping or just placing the hands, right? And then the other is just what you're really saying is you're asking your higher power to teach you how to live from your heart instead of your mind. And that means you're saying basically your higher power, when you say heart, teach my mind, you're saying, God, I'm willing to follow my heart. I'm willing to let my heart lead the show and run the show and let my mind be in service to that, right? So that would be where I would leave you. It's bittersweet because I know in this moment you're not feeling all that power that's in your solar plexus, but I am. So there's something about I'm able to see it for you, I guess, right now. And in a way, it is you. You just haven't sort of realized that. And that's okay. We all have our path forward, and we all have our journey that we go on. So I just said a lot. I hope that makes sense. How is that landing with you, Lee? What's going on for you? I sense there's a lot to unpack there. I mean, that would take a whole hour session, I think, to go deeper with it. But I also sense that there's some resistance in your energy field that I wasn't able to necessarily break through. But I'm really glad to see the solar plexus energy so strong. So, and that's a fascinating thing because what's this more? My friends, it's just the message I'm getting is when we let the mind run the show, and when we listen too closely to all the stories and the judgments that we put on ourselves, we begin to believe that that is what is real and that is what is true. And then we miss the reality of the actual energy that we have inside of ourselves, the actual connection to God, source, higher power, whatever it is. Oh, you're welcome, Lee. Oh, I'm so glad. Yeah, let it all out, my friend. Release it. If you need to cry, cry. Like, that is the path of the heart, is to feel everything, the good, bad, and the indifferent, to feel. I mean, this is why I talked to earlier and asked you guys about why was that trash bin full of paper towels evidence of love, right? It's so important that we even look for those silly little things like a trash can full of paper towels and look at how love would see it, right? Or look at how our higher power would view it, right? And like those very little small, they feel, the mind thinks they're insignificant, right? But energetically and for our heart, they're so powerful because they're so simple. Yeah, I relate, Lee. I mean, I haven't had a tragic or traumatic accident like you, but I've told my story on here a number of times. I keep thinking I should make a track about it, but long story short, is that the phrase? Long story short, in 2008, I got evicted. I chose to sell everything. I chose to go on this crazy adventure of house hopping, house sitting, even slept in my car for 3 months. And I'm 6'2", and it was a Mini Cooper convertible. That was not exactly um, spacious, shall we say, right? And then I just was on this journey of losing so many things, but and like that led up to my mom getting terminally ill, and then she died. And it just been there was a period for about 10 to 12 of those years. Well, it was about 15 years long, quite honestly. But towards the end of that, well, how do I say this? Okay. Sometimes my words don't come through as fast as the feelings do. So I apologize, or they come through too fast. Anyways, so it was about a 15-year period where for 14 of those years, I kept repeating the story in my mind about everything I'd lost, how hard it was, all the grief, and how am I ever going to recover from all of this loss, right? And then a couple months ago, I was listening to something somewhere, and I suddenly realized how necessary that whole many year experience was, because it wasn't when I look at it from the divine's perspective, and when I look at it from the perspective of now on the other side of having said yes to my life path calling, and which I continually have to say yes to, it's not just one yes. I have to seem to do it every month or every week. But on the other side of having said yes, I am now looking back at those 14 years, and I'm seeing the energetic essential aspect of it, right? Not the stories and the judgments that Greg has created over the pain from it, and which the pain, the heartbreak and all that was legit, absolutely. But the stories I create of it had been keeping me stuck. So now I have a new story, and this is it. The new story is that I didn't lose everything. Why? Because everything is energy. I firmly believe this. This is my understanding and a big part of my belief system. So if everything is energy, when it leaves our immediate experience, aka loss, when it leaves our immediate experience, we're not really losing it. It's getting transformed and repurposed, which means all of the stuff that I had in my apartment, my car, the cell phone, all that stuff that was removed from my life experience, that's all just gone into other energy in my life, right? And then I began to see that the universe was helping me reduce the amount of density, lower and minimize the amount of density of my life experience. Like all my things were taken, all that, I released it, and it wasn't that it was taken from me, because I believe that life happens for us, not to us, right? But it was that I was letting it go because I wasn't needing it in that form anymore. I was actually needing to let it release it back to the universe, so that God, whatever you want to call it, can transmute that energy and repurpose into something new. And now I'm all about ChakraTouch and what I'm wanting to do. And I'm not even concerned as much with the 14 years of quote unquote the loss. Yeah. So hopefully that story helps somebody. Thank you, Lee, for your vulnerability. I know that must have been, well, I could feel that there was some difficulty in bringing that up, but I applaud your courage and I appreciate your vulnerability, as I'm sure everybody else does too. All righty, let's spin the wheel again. Are you complete, Lee? Do you have any questions or need any clarification? Christian, no problem. Please come back another time. Oh, I'm so glad you're leaving with a stronger heart. I love that for you. Yeah, goodly. I'm glad. Sure, Sherry. How are you, dear? Good to see you. All right, here we go. Wait, intuition says I should shuffle. There we go. Oh, I'm glad, Lee. I'm glad it was good for you. Well, I'm live 3 times a week. I'm not sure what I'm doing next week yet, but usually Wednesdays, Fridays. And Sundays is special. I don't do readings on Sundays. We do special journeys to meet our spirit guides or go on a soul fragment reintegration. And Meek, are you still here? Hi, Maggie. So good to see you. I recognize you from somewhere. I can't remember where. Other people's lives, probably. All right, Maggie, I'd be happy to add you for the next spin. And Meek, there you are. How can I be of assistance? What guidance do you seek today, and Meek? I could use some help, she says, advice regarding my physical health. What does it take to make me feel better? What can I do myself? I have a lot I could say about that. And I've already sort of said a lot about that, but let me see. Is there a spot in your body and make that you would like me to focus on? I may end up elsewhere, but we could start there. And do you want to share with us any details about the physical health? Back and arm. Okay. Which arm, my friend? Left or right? Okay. Hmm. Upper or lower back? Hmm. I'm guessing upper. That's wrong. I'm not attached to being right or wrong, but there's a lot of energy in your upper back for some reason. There's a huge amount of energy in your upper back. Well, there's a pretty potent energy in your lower back too, but it is tied up like a pretzel. So the upper back energy, which may be your heart energy. Yeah, thinking that's your heart energy. It's very beautiful, very spacious. Just feels like a soft cloud on a beautiful spring day that's just floating through the air. But your lower back is just like all knotted up. So all the energy is sort of like twisted and gnarled around itself, like even tighter than a pretzel would be. Herniated disc for lower back. Yeah. So, hmm. So the lower back is basically on the backside of the lower chakras. In particular, I usually work with the belly area, but in this case, hmm, I'm just feeling in. I wish I knew exactly is there any way you can describe how far down the lower back it was? That would help a lot because we have three different chakras down there. And oh, okay. Maybe I don't need it. I was just given an insight. Hmm. You're so what's going on, Anmik? So my guides are giving me a more specific visual of the energy. So if you imagine in your lower back, there's three different strands of energy. Okay. I can't do it perfectly with the fingers. But what's happening is they're all reaching that point in your lower back, and then they're all like they're winding around themselves, like I said, like getting twisted like a pretzel. So this is like the energy of the root chakra, the energy of the second chakra, and the energy of the third chakra are all getting bound up there in your lower back. And so on a very simplistic view, right? Root chakra is about um our sense of security and safety in the world, our groundedness in our body, but also to the planet. It's also about and to a large degree, it's about prosperity as well, right? So it's about our sense of physical well-being in general, not just health, but like safety and security. The second chakra is about um creativity, sexuality, sensuality, passion. It for me, I interpret the second chakra as kind of like embodying our life force, right? The very force that animates and moves our body. And then the third chakra is power and self-confidence, courage and faith, and just that personal strength. And so all three of those energies are getting bound up somewhere there in the lower back. And let me see. When I sense that there's a lot of what is okay. So first off, Anmeek, I don't know if this is true. Like I say, I'm never attached to being right or wrong about any of this. We just go with the flow. But I'm getting the feeling as though there's a lot of you're what do I say? A lot of self-judgment going on. Basically, um, your mind is really focused. Your mind's eye, if you will, is really focused on that spot where you had the surgery, and you're putting a lot of you're creating a lot of story and a lot of self-judgment around the injury and around the surgery. I don't know if that connects or relates. Please let me know if I'm on base with that or not. But there's okay, cool. So the first aspect of that, the energy, so this is what's okay. Yeah, this is what's causing the gunk up. Okay. They're getting all bound up because you are, like I said, you're pouring, like maybe this isn't even intentional. Maybe this is sort of unconscious because of the pain that's been associated with it. I'm not sure, but your mind is so focused on that spot, and it's basically feeding it low vibration negative energy by judging and creating all these stories around that, right? And I think what's this I'm feeling? So there's a couple pieces to breaking this free for you and Meek. The first is, do you have any practices for dropping out of your mind and into your heart? Do you have anything that you do, meditation, mantras, um, and even any physical movement, any special therapies they gave you for the back or anything, meditation, great. So to continue to do this, my guides are just saying this absolutely important to just be continuing to release the thinking, right? And to retrain what the mind needs to focus on. And so there's a tactic that I can give you that they're talking about right now, and I think we might actually be able to do this today. Let me see if we have enough. Yeah, okay. So Ann Meek, I want you to place your hands. Let's see, where will I put them? No, no, see, because in my understanding of how this works, okay, is that the mind when we think thoughts, that's generating emotions of various frequencies, okay? And then what's happening is because everything's energy, the cells of our body are responding to the frequency that we're give them. So if the mind is generating a thought that is a low frequency, our emotions are the guidance that's telling us, that's the indication of what frequency we're thinking our thoughts are, right? So if we're feeling sad, if we're feeling frustrated, if we're feeling discouraged, if we're feeling despair, if we're feeling depression, if we're feeling anger, if we're feeling rage, if we're feeling any of those, and if you want to look up, Abraham Hicks has a wonderful emotional guidance scale, and so you can actually see they list those emotions I just listed down in the lower vibrations, and then as you get into contentment and you get a whiff of hope, you can start to then feel otherwise, and the otherwise is basically Hope can lead to gratitude, that can lead to joy, celebration, appreciation, and love is the highest vibration available to us, right? Right now on the planet. There are others higher, but we as humans aren't ready for those yet, whatever they are. So the trick to this is that your cells are responding to what you are mentally feeding it. So if you're feeding it a low vibration, a negative thought, then the cells of that spot, since your mind is so focused on that spot, and probably for a good intention, you're wanting to heal, right? That's a good intention. But what's happening is you're feeding it the wrong nutrients mentally. Does that make any sense? Makes sense to me. I hope it makes sense to you. So what we're being okay, right. So what we're wanting to do is first get ourselves into a higher vibration. And my main focus of doing that is to find ways, evidence of love in life, to tell myself stories, to find evidence outside of myself, to find evidence in my life of love. Because when I notice that, when I let go of the topic that I'm most concerned of, right? So it's very difficult, particularly with a physical scenario like this. It's very difficult to continue to focus, in this example, on that spot in the back and try to affect healing. Okay. What we have to do sometimes is let that focus go and focus elsewhere, there where we don't have as much challenge, right? Yes, indeed. Well, I think that the arm is related to this because what's happening energetically is your three main 3D, basically physical world chakras, the first three chakras aren't flowing above the solar plexus. So you're not getting the energy to come up and through you, right? Which it's no judgment. It just is. It's what it is. That's how your energy is right now. And that's the other part. One of the things that I often encourage folks to do is what I call loving allowance. There's a phrase given to me 15 plus years ago by one of my dearest spiritual advisors, and he would always say, we encourage you to have loving allowance for all things to be in their own time and place. So that requires a couple things. First, we have to trust the universe. We have to trust ourselves and we have to trust life, that things will unfold the way that they're supposed to. And that if we can just be present with them with a sense of love and a sense of acceptance, like all that builds a spaciousness around us so that then what is going to be highest and best for us really can unfold, right? But back to the original point I was trying to encourage. So there's two different games you can play mentally, right? That hopefully could help you feel better. The first is to just look outside of yourself, like I was saying, for evidence of anything that helps you feel better. Because what happens is when you're looking at, like my example, the trash can full of paper towels, right? Or when you're looking at a flower, or when you're looking in the eyes of a dear friend that you love, we don't have stories and resistances built up about that particular thing. So we can use it as kind of a workaround. We can use it. It's not even a crutch. We just use it as a simple tool to help us begin to raise our vibration so that we can feel and begin to think better. And when we're thinking about things better, then we're in a higher vibration, and then we're actually to access things that maybe we didn't see, like new understandings about why this back surgery is important on your journey, because it happened for you for some reason. It's serving some sort of purpose, right? And you can begin to see that maybe if you can just be present with it and believe that your body will heal, right? A lot of times people don't heal because they take a doctor's word that something's incurable. And yet we've all heard stories about how somebody has healed themselves from some uncurable thing, right? Well, how did they do it? What made them so special? Nothing. They just tapped into something other than what the doctor told them, right? So you have access at any time, you have access to the divine, whatever you call that, and you have access to finding the perspective of love. And the best way to do that, in my encouragement, is to look at things that aren't hard to love, like that you just know you love them, right? And then eventually the goal is to really accept and embrace this physical experience you're having. And you you may not be able to get to that today. In other words, you may not be able to love your scenario with your back right now, but that's the goal. Because the longer you fight it and resist it, get in the love flow. Exactly. The longer you fight it and resist this, right? So what does this sound like? Oh my goddamn back. I can't believe it. Oh my God, I have to deal with this again today, right? Or whatever. And I'm not saying this is what you say. I'm just making up what I would say about it. Oh crap, like my God, I'm not going to be able to do X, Y, and Z today because of this, right? That's resistance, my friend. That's stories and judgments, and you're just piling on. When we talk that way about ourselves, about anything, we're just piling on low vibration thoughts, and the cells are going to respond. The cells don't think for themselves. They reflect and mirror what we're thinking. And so the cells are just going to take that on. And then they're going to be like, well, she's saying this, that, that about the back. So I guess that's what we're going to do. And we're just going to do that. Right. Or he's saying, or whatever. Right. But it's different. If we go, even if we just change the story a little bit, I'm not really psyched today about the back pain, but I'm going to listen to it today. I'm going to listen to it a little bit more closely. Maybe my body is telling me something that I haven't been listening to for the longest time. And maybe there's a message there. Maybe there's a emotional something to it that I haven't really faced. Or maybe there's a pattern of thought that I'm not aware of. Okay, cool. All right, back. Teach me. I will listen today. And then you just make that intention, you begin to listen. And the challenge of that is that every time those other stories come up, we gotta let them go. Not just resist them, but we gotta let them go. So it's really good to have those look for those little evidence of the flow of love as well. How's this landing for you, Anmeek? I know this is a lot, and physical stuff is really challenging. So I get that. You have a lot of love energy in your heart, and Meek. And the one other thing that you can do is really just do a meditation where you tap into that. You can use the love bomb. I have a track called Love Bomb. And to just generate so much love in your heart space, and then literally use your mind in the right way as a tool to direct that energy like sunbeams to the parts of your body where you're kind of owie or you're really owie, right? I did this once with my friend Marty. She was having some back pains and she loves her family so much. It's like her superpower, you know? And I was able to feel that and I was able to guide her to direct beams of love energy to these two specific spots in her back. And this is a woman who's had chronic back issues. And by the time we were done with the hour-long session, those two pain spots had gone away and she was pain-free for the rest of the day. And she did that. I was just a guide. I didn't heal her. She took her superpower of the love in her heart. And I believe we all have the superpower of love. We just disconnect from it sometimes, which is part of our lives that happens. But we all have this superpower. She took the superpower of the love for her family and she directed that love to where she hurt and she felt better. Now, those were just day pains. Those weren't like as severe as what you're going through. But yeah, you can't just ignore the physical discomfort. This is not something where Western society would say normally, just push through it. Just push through it, Anmeek. No, like, I'm sorry, I'm about to swear, but I'll say F that. Don't push through it. Embrace it, ease into it, let it inform you, let it teach you, let it guide you. This is your body talking to you, telling you something. This is your body saying, I'm hurting so bad in this spot right now because of some sort of vibration that you've been practicing for a long time, long enough so that your back, your support, the back holds us up, right? Your support is hurting right now. And that could be a very simple, although you might need to practice it a lot, but a very simple answer to this might be you're not trusting whatever you consider the divine, because that is truly where our support comes from. And I know it's easier said than done. Yep, absolutely. Okay. There's so much more here, Anmeek, but this is a really good start for you. I love this. And we didn't like I could have gone on a whole journey with you, um, which really would have been lovely, but maybe we can do that another time. Anyways, you're welcome. Thank you for your vulnerability and your courage as well. Alrighty, let's see. Anyone else want to get on the list before I spin again? This will be the final spin for the day because we're at an hour and 11 minutes almost. Yeah, and Make, if you're called to want to work on this more, I invite you to reach out to me through Insight Timer. I do privates, and this is something we could definitely unpack for you if you want, and it's something we could even work on regularly. But I leave that up to you. I'm just really feeling called to mention that to you right now. All right, no more names. Anyone else want to get on the list? Wonderful. So while I'm spinning, I just want to thank everybody for being here today. I love having people come and share these times with me. Please do follow if you feel so called from your heart. I love it when folks follow. You will get notified about all my lives. We also have this beautiful group called the Circle of Love. It's been growing nice and steadily, and we just I share stuff in there, and other people share about their life and what's going on, and we talk about different ideas. So you're welcome to join that. If you don't know how to join teachers groups, you go to their Insight Timer profile page, and at the very first one is the home tab. You scroll all the way down, and at the bottom is any group that they've created. And so mine's called Circle of Love, has purple hearts around it. Also, yeah, if you're feeling so called to support me financially, there's two really easy ways to do it. You probably know about donating in the lives or from my page if you're on Apple. But one thing a lot of folks don't know about is just listening to and reviewing teachers' tracks. We get paid from Insight Timer for folks doing that, which is just a lovely way to spend a little time to financially support folks. Not that it's required in any way, but if you're feeling called, absolutely do that. Also, if you're into like the socials and everything, on the About tab of my Insight Timer profile, I have my link tree to all my socials. I record all of my live streams and I put them up on my YouTube so you guys can have access to them for replay value. It's so helpful sometimes to go back and re-listen to a reading you might have had, or just a general one. And then also I've got all sorts of stuff, Instagram, Facebook. I've got my a calendar for scheduling privates, and then my emails up there as well. So I'm always happy to hear from people through any of those means. Alrighty, so let's see who the wheel picked. Deborah, are you still here? Deborah, Deborah. Yes, you're here. Wonderful. All right. How can I be of assistance, my friend? What guidance do you seek today? Hmm. Thanks for the hearts. I love seeing those fly. Please, general guidance. Okay. How's your spiritual connection been lately, Deborah? Your crown chakra is super lit up. That's really lit up. Hmm. Yeah, I can feel it. So your crown chakra has this, it's showing me this image of your connection to the divine is just wide open, and that there is just light actually streaming in and out, but it's like it's rainbow colored streams of light, and there's like little stars, like sparkles that come out of the beams. Like it's really beautiful. and it's just a lot of energy up there. And I'm just feeling so much love from the divine for you. So what I'm what do you consider the divine? What's the meaning for you? Because I feel like there's a message coming through. Hmm. Yeah, there's a message coming through for you, Deborah. We love you very, 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 very much. We want you, we invite you to remember who you really are, that you are love, that you are not these small moments in time that you notice. And they're not using words to show me what you really are, but it's I mean they're showing me they're showing me the universe. They're showing me space with a bajillion different galaxies. Yeah, connection to source and God. That makes sense. Yeah, so they're showing me like they went from saying things to showing this picture of the universe with all the different galaxies, like our galaxy and all the different amazing, different shaped galaxies. And they're just beaming this sense at you, and they're really inviting you to connect with this more deeply. There's something more to be revealed the more deeply you can connect with this sense of who you really are, Deborah. With this, it's reminding me of the thoughts I've been having in the last week or two about the true essence of love, right? So the thoughts I've been having around that is that I think I was telling Kiana this on Sunday, and her Sunday, or was it Sunday or on Friday? I can't remember. Kiana, maybe you do remember, but sorry, my thoughts get jumbled on this because I don't have 100% words on these new ideas. But basically, that most of humanity, not most of humanity, but how do I say this? The perception of love, our perception of love changes as we deepen our spiritual on the spiritual path, that we deepen our spiritual connection. So it first starts out as just sensing love as a feeling, right? And usually that's like either coming from someone or love we have for someone, and we just think of love as a feeling. But then as we grow and as we expand our consciousness and our awareness of love, we begin to see that love is also a force, like that the equivalent of love is energy, right? And then we begin to see that what it means to live from love is to not just feel it and share it, and not just think it, and not just behave like it, but to actually become conduits, right? And then beyond that, above or beyond even the bigger space, beyond being a conduit, is when we actually be love. And that I don't have words for at the moment. But it's this sense of understanding as love flows through us as a conduit, we begin to understand that we are it, and that we can utilize it in new ways. So like when you sit down to do a creative project, you're a conduit for love. You're allowing love to come through your passion for that creative project, right? Or when you sit down to lovingly support and listen to a dear friend or a family member, you are actually being love, right? It's so much more than just the feeling. It's so much more than just the the experience of the feeling. It's so much more than just allowing the love to move through us. It's actually identifying that we're in the stream of love and then can utilize it in different ways. We can redirect the energy towards different things. So there's so much more there. I'm hoping I'm hoping over time more gets revealed because I really feel like I'm onto something there. But this is very much the kind of feeling that your guidance is beaming down through your crown chakra, Deborah. This just whole sense of you being the universe, and just they're just really continually inviting you to come to them for support and for guidance, and to just grow that connection that you've apparently been, just seems like you're doing really good with today, right? And just really become it. And they're applauding what I just said. So I must have gotten it right or good or something. I don't know. How does that sound, Deborah? What is that? What are you feeling about that? What are you thinking? And it's truly a beautiful feeling that I was getting. Yeah, isn't that a wow, Kimmy? I love that. I think Deborah's typing. Can't wait to someday be able to meet with all you guys like on Zoom or something where we can not have the delay of typing. Yeah, we are all that. Well, apparently Deborah's just been really working her spiritual connection, because that just they're just calling her forward uh in her growth. And I love this for you, Deborah. Deborah says, yes, thank you much. Have realized what you said, that after all is said in practice, it's all about the love for all and more, right? Like, as I say all the time, my understanding is that everything's energy, which means we're energy, and love is the highest vibration. So what does that mean? What does love is the highest vibration means? That means that because the energy can exist on a spectrum, right? On a spectrum or a continuum of different vibrations. So here is all of energy, and you can vibrate low, you can vibrate higher, you can vibrate higher and higher. Love is when the energy is vibrating at its current highest accessible to us. And then when we're vibrating there, we're actually being it. We're just being it. And that means we don't even necessarily have to try hard for something, because we're vibrating at the same frequency that source is vibrating, right? And so we then remember, and we can not just feel our connection to source, but we recognize our connection to source. We recognize that we are part of it. It's so huge. I mean, I know this is very woo-woo and mystical in certain ways, and for me, when I say it, it makes complete sense, but I don't know if it always makes complete sense after it comes out of my mouth. Gary says, Greg, someday we'll meet in person. Perhaps, yeah, but I'm forming some group programs so that we can meet on Zoom and have the next best thing to in person. Kimmy says, it's the words that aren't spoken because it can't be explained, only felt. Agreed, my dear. Absolutely. It is very much a sensing and a feeling thing. Deborah says, beautifully said on your words. Oh, thank you, dear. Appreciate that. Honored and so uplifted for this confirmation. That's great. I hope that was the general guidance you wanted. Lee says we are a conduit of love. Yes. Love equals energy, love vibration frequency. True. Um, yes. I hesitate, but so because you're saying three different things, but they're all true. So I wouldn't say love equals energy. I mean, that's a quick and easy way to say it. I would say that basically exactly what I said. So think about energy. I mean, if everything's energy, there is no limits. So there's not like a container for it necessarily, right? But if you think for a moment about, I don't know why this is coming, but we'll just flow with this. Think about a bucket of water, right? And you fill the bucket with water, okay? And then you set it down. And when it settles, the water becomes calm and still, right? There's no ripples or no flows or no waves in it, right? But then if you take uh whatever, a spoon, a small hammer or whatever, and you knock on the side of the bucket, there'll be ripples, right? And if you knock again, there'll be more ripples. Well, if you increase the frequency of the knocking, then there are more and more ripples. So low vibration, low frequency. So the bucket is all the same, right? But the impact of the, say, a stick or a drumstick or whatever, the impact of a stick against the side of the bucket causes the ripples. So the stick is our thoughts, okay? And the energy then reflects that. So when we are doing low vibration, we're just going thump, thump, and there's a few ripples there, right? We don't get a lot of motion. But as we increase the frequency of the smacking it with the stick, the water itself is still there. It's still in the bucket. It hasn't changed. It's just now rippling more and more and more. So that's, I've never stated that example before, but that's a decent example of what it means to raise the frequency. It's all of the same energy, right? And then the conduit is that we are actually the bucket, right? Or we're a hose for the water, kind of very limited way of thinking about it, obviously, because it's much more vast than just a bucket. Maybe. I'm not sure what you mean by third wave. But yeah, love is the highest for when energy vibrates, the highest possible vibration of that energy right now for us as humans on the planet is love. So when we're feeling love or when we are love, we're in that vibration. And from there, we can, we're really, I mean, the potential is unlimited. There's so much for us to learn from just vibrating that high. And it's accessible by everybody. We just it's learning how to retrain our mind. I mean, I need these reminders just as much as everybody else on the planet, because even though I've been on a spiritual path for 35 plus years, my mind will start running the show because that's just what it's used to doing. But I want my heart to run the show, and so I need the reminders just as much as we all do. Yeah. Yeah, not alone by itself. Yeah. Yeah, we're ultimately never truly alone. Yeah, yeah, sure, you can if you want. All right, my friends. Speaking of all that great high vibration stuff, let's do a love bomb and then we'll wrap up. So if you're new here, love bomb is one of our favorite little games slash exercises. I have a beautiful track that will guide you through it if you want to listen to that at any time. And the love bomb is just perfect for exactly what we've been talking about for the last half hour, about helping us get into that vibration of love, right? And from there, it's from that place when we're in that higher vibration, that's the place that we're truly wanting to take action from. That's the place that we can perceive the way God sees things, or that we can perceive something we weren't able to perceive previously. So, like, Anne Meek is going to learn, the more she can raise her vibration into the love space, and the more she can live from love in regards to her back, the more her back pain is going to teach her. It's going to allow her the ability that you have to raise the frequency to perceive what you weren't able to perceive. Like at the lower frequencies, we're just not able to perceive as much, right? Because that's just the mind in its one limited view of one diamond across the whole span of infinity, right? We're wanting to be able to perceive someday. I am wanting to perceive all of these diamonds in the infinity loop. So here comes the bomb, as Kimmy loves to say. Yeah. All right, my friends, love bomb time. So if you're seated, kindly uncross your legs. Make sure your feet are flat on the floor. If you're not seated, if you're standing, or if you're laying down, just become aware. Well, even if you are seated, become aware of the parts of your body that are touching the floor and or any other piece of furniture that you're currently connected to, and just drop into the awareness of that physical connection. Bring your left hand up to the center of your chest on your heart chakra, and then your right hand gently over it, and close your eyes. Your breathing be in whatever pace is comfortable and whatever rhythm is comfortable for you. Focus your mind's eye deep within your heart space. Have a sense of curiosity, of inquisitiveness as you look deep into your heart. And as you're peering deep into your heart space, allow to come to mind a person, place, or a thing that you deeply love. You just purely and absolutely love this person, place, or thing. It doesn't matter how small or how significant the person, place, or thing is. It's just something that you love or someone. And just hold that love in your heart. It's so pure. There's no judgment. There's no stories. There's no expectations. There's no analysis. You just absolutely and purely love this person, place, or thing. And allow that thought to be held in your heart and place a seed, an energetic seed of the feeling of love. Mm. And as you feel that seed grow and the feeling and the energy of love begin to shine in your heart space, bring up another person, place, or thing in your mind that you just deeply love and hold them in your heart. And allow that to bolster and further grow that beautiful golden bright ball of energy in your heart, that energy of love. And gradually bring to mind other people, places, and things that you purely, absolutely, deeply love, and begin to bombard and barrage your heart with these different thoughts of people, places, and things that you just purely love. And even say them out loud if you feel so called to. You can write them in chat, but saying them out loud is so powerful. I love how courageous and vulnerable all of you are when you come on Insight Timer. I love how we build community together across the ethers, across the internet. So many beautiful hearts and beautiful people coming together to grow spiritually and to spend quality time together. I love when a visitor comes over and does amazing home cooked meals that just taste like they're seeped in love and beautiful attention to every detail. I love people's generosity of spirit. They feel they can share what they have with somebody else who may not have the same. I love sunsets and I love watching the water of oceans and lakes and the waves crashing against the shore. I love really good sushi and pineapple juice. I love pineapple juice and guacamole. I love guacamole. I absolutely love guacamole. Oh my God. I'll put guacamole on everything if I could. I love that eventually I had the courage to say yes to share my gifts and to follow my own calling. I love my friend Marty very much. Everything she's done for me the past 12 years, I have such deep love and appreciation for her. I love my brother and sister. Whenever we get to spend time together, it's truly beautiful. I love making plans for the future with some of my dear friends. And I love doing these lives. And as you continue to bombard your heart, my friends, with these different thoughts of people, places, and things that you absolutely love, just continue to feel that love bursting forth and filling your entire heart space. Your heart is glowing now, beaming brighter than ever before. And in this moment, you have a choice. You can just hold on to this love and vibrate in this beautiful love energy. You can share it with a friend who you know could use it. You could share it with yourself, parts of your body, as we were talking about earlier. Or you could just let it grow more and more. And because we're all one, when you share your love with someone else, you're never losing it. You're never getting rid of it. You're never depleting it. In fact, you don't even need to send love or energy to anyone. If you can vibrate and feel this amazing love energy yourself, then your very aura, your very essence will just be beaming it to other people, whether you don't have to try at all. You just are. You just are that vibration. So, my friends, leave your left hand on your heart and reach your right hand out, palm facing forward. And in your mind's eye, picture placing your hand lovingly and gently on the back of someone else's heart here in our group in the live today. And just watch in your mind as an energetic circle of love of all of us touching each other's back begins to unfold before your very mind's eye. 92 meditators all feeling the love in their heart and placing a gentle, loving hand on the back of somebody else's heart. You are love, my friends. I am love. We are all love. And we're together in this moment, in this love bomb, feeling and being love. Thank you for being here, for being willing to pursue this path to your own heart. It is a most noble and worthy path. From my perspective, it is so vital, and it is very much the essence of my spiritual journey. And I am honored and deeply thankful for you being here so that I can fulfill my purpose as a guide to on the path to your heart. Thank you to everyone for being here. Thank you to anyone who follows. Thank you to anyone who listens to my stuff, who connects through Facebook or Instagram or wherever. Thank you to anyone who feels called to donate. I appreciate it all from the very depths of my heart. And I'm just tickled pink to have everybody here. Please do come back for another live. The next one will be on Friday. I have not decided about my schedule for next week yet. I'm kind of in a space where I might want to take a week off from lives. However, you're welcome, Elena. And thank you, Erica. Oh, Lee, thank you so much for your loving donation. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. So special invitation. Um, if you enjoyed this session today or have been enjoying our lives for a time now, I'm holding a special group. I've been developing two different ways right now, might be more than two, but ways to do group-wide readings. So I don't have to pick and choose individuals, but that I can actually give guidance to, I mean, I'm always giving guidance to everybody at the same time, but do group-wide readings. Anyways, I'm going to be hosting a Zoom call, and I'm inviting folks who are interested to reach out to me through Insight Timer. You can direct message me from my profile if you don't know how to do that. Where the follow button is, or if you've already followed, it'll say donate, right? Right above that are three dots. And if you click or tap on those three dots, it'll open up a menu, and one of the menu options will be to message the teacher. And I keep that messaging open. Yes, thank you, Anmeek, for following. I really appreciate that. So yes, you can send me a message with your email. And what I'm going to be doing is when we get enough people, which we're really close, I think we have about 12 now, but I'm wanting just a handful more. I'm going to be sending out an email to coordinate when we're going to meet. And I'm inviting everyone to meet with me on Zoom, where I can practice these group-wide tech strategies, basically, and get direct feedback. It's too difficult to do here on the live. There's subtleties and whatnot that I want to discuss, and it's just going to be easier for me and for all of us, really, to do this on Zoom. So there's no cost to it. It's going to occur at the same time as my lives do, which is usually in the afternoons, East Coast US time. And we just haven't picked a day yet. So if you're at all interested in that, please do reach out to me. Otherwise, I will see you again down the road at one of my lives or at somebody else's.